Hey guys, I'm Tiffany.
I'm Erica.
And we're the Nerdettes. I don't know what's happening either. And we're here
to do this.
we're here to talk about episode 2 of Star Trek Discovery called Battle at the Binary Stars. Ooh. And so we just got done talking about the first episode. This second episode, like if it wasn't a good enough start to the series, I'm glad that they actually posted 2 because that makes it a nice little even flow, so
you don't have to wait as long.
So it actually, so it opens where it goes back in time when the captain met Michael and the Vulcan ambassador, and you find out it was 7 years earlier.
Yep.
And Michael is like in these robes and is like very kind of that Vulcan personality. That kind of serious.
Serious.
I'm not bothered by human emotions. Kind of.
Yeah, like no sense of humor. She had no sense of humor. Like I think the captain tried to joke with her, and she was like, "Why?" Like it was just so deadpan.
The stoic nature, and just kind of reaction. So, but it just it goes back to show you where the captain and her met, and. That kind of feeling of nostalgia when you meet a friend for the first time, and it's like, you don't really know how you're gonna, if you're gonna have a connection, but you just kind of want to put yourself out there anyways, and it's kind of like that same feel, and you can definitely tell that she admires her intelligence and capabilities that she's heard of and wants her to join the Shinjo. And of course Michael's like, no, I've always wanted to be on a Vulcan fleet and with the Vulcans.
Well, and she wanted her own.
And she wanted to be captain, right? And so it's very kind of hard for her to take a command from others, it would seem. So
clearly,
as we just saw with the last episode. But it's very interesting to see her kind of like her. Where she's come, because obviously during this space and time, her relationship with the captain is very, kind of like strained. But when she sees the main deck, where she herself will have her own station, her own chair, her own rank, it does finally sink in that this is bigger than she ever imagined or conceived or dreamed of herself, and enough to kind of stun her and make her feel almost like odd to be in such a place and have this I guess this position, but so it shows how they met, and here she's put in the brig, she's relieved of duty, she's in like this kind of like
it's like a force field.
And but so it goes back. You see the 24 vessels from the 24 houses of the Klingons, and they finally basically open up a channel where they're able to communicate. And of course, here we go. The captain,
and I knew it was going to happen.
Right? They called it from the very first,
first 2 minutes of the first episode.
Yes. And so the captain comes on. She identifies herself. She's like, we're here from Starfleet. You're in our space, and we just want to establish a communication, open up a dialogue between us, and as always, we come in peace. And I was like, oh,
I like baseball.
The way he does it actually humored me, because he's like, here it comes.
Yeah, he's like, wait for it, and then she says it, and he's like,
told ya.
He's like doing the told you so dance. Like,
because he's talking to the other Vulcans. He's like, wait for it, here it comes.
And I think we forgot to mention he's
behind door number 1.
Right? The whole time, the leaders of all the other houses are I guess, like,
why did you bring us?
In.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, and they were confused as to why he brought them there, and he was like, no, you don't understand, watch. And so when that communication came
this
through,
opportunity.
Yeah, he wanted to unite the houses, and
to
the
show
one
our
guy,
strength
and the one guy said
our resilience.
No.
Yeah.
Because I remember I don't remember which house it was, but he basically was like, no, he was like, you're basically scum, and I'm not going to even talk to you.
Right. Anyone who would associate with, he really looks down on the albino being there, and he's like, anyone who would associate with this trash or whatever.
Yeah, that's essentially
not worthy of our notice, if you will. So.
Right. And so and what I thought was really funny though is he tried to speak for everyone, and the other ones were like, well, we're interested. So, and he just kind of like glared at him and left, and I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, there you go. And so he's trying to unite all the houses, and then once this happens, he uses it as an excuse. He's like, hey, this is what I was talking to you about. This is my proof. We need to go to war. We need, this is war. We need to establish and go ahead and fight. We need all of you here. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to convince them.
Sorry, I was answering a question real quick.
No, he's trying to convince them, like, come fight with us. Like, we need your firepower.
Yes.
So they, they're like, well, okay, we hope you know what you're doing. Basically, have at it. And so basically give him, like, free reign and say that they'll help him. Mm-hmm. And which is like, I'm just like, oh God.
Support this war that's getting ready to happen. So, they have this communication opened, and it flashes back to Michael, and you see finally the Vulcan ambassador again. Like, she's knocked out at this point, and he shares, let me think. Wait, they fire on them, don't they?
Well, yeah, because the Klingons, pretty much as soon as the communication's done.
Right, they immediately start firing.
And they fire, and it really damages
all the ships.
Yeah, they damage the ship pretty bad.
And they don't have any, like, support yet themselves. So they're taking it from all sides, quite literally. And they're
because
their
the
shields are almost,
support is like still 2 hours
out.
Right,
and it's still incoming, and they're scared, and they're trying to get in contact with people. They're waiting on the Admiral and the Europa, and it's like, where are you? And finally, like, at the perfect moment when they need them the most, like, they blow up enough of the ship, you see it knock out Michael.
Yeah, because when it hits the bridge, and one of the guys gets injured because he fell, and so she tells him to go to sickbay. Well, he is so disoriented, he goes to the brig, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "They told me to go to sickbay." She's like, "This is not sickbay."
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to page the doctor. And as soon as she said that, another thing hits the ship
whole breach,
right there.
And he's sucked out into space.
He gets sucked out into space, and she gets knocked out because something happened. Like when it hit, I think it knocked her down.
Right.
And then she gets knocked unconscious, and she has that flashback.
Right. She goes into kind of like this mental stasis.
It's almost like a dream state.
Like unconscious, right, where you're not awake, but you're not dreaming. You're kind of in that kind of in between.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so during this, you learn that she shares this Katra with the Vulcan ambassador, and he comes and visits her in this Katra space, and
he can basically come to her anywhere,
right? And it's like that sensei type of like bond. Obviously, it's like sensei.
It made me happy though. I was like, that's cool. It's almost like a dad,
right? And
in a way,
he talks to her, and like, because she's still of this whole I don't have emotions, and I'm, this is. She basically talks to him like she would a therapist almost, and so he comes to her, and even at his own detriment, like it actually pains him physically and mentally to establish this connection.
Yeah, because I think it takes like pretty much his whole it basically
his Katra and his energy, his life force, even.
Right. So it affects him physically, basically, but he does it because, which to me says a lot.
That to me, that's like emotions are
like
involved.
That's what I was about to say, because I'm like, if you're physically paining yourself just to be able to be in contact with another person, that to me would show some form of attachment.
Well, exactly, and he's got that with her, but so finally she does come back to conscious, and finally, like as they're still, they kind of cease fire, or the ambassador shows up with the Europa, and a lot of the other ships from the Starfleet show up, and the ambassador finally comes on the comms with the Klingon. He's like, "Hey, this is Ambassador, and I'm here finally." And the man in charge is here, and of course the Klingon, finally someone worthy of our talking to, And basically he offers the idea of a ceasefire. Wants to meet with them and talk with them personally, and you don't really think, they agree to it, and you don't really think the Klingons have a kind of a sense of humor or double entendre, and they're like, "We will send an envoy to meet with you." Oh, did they? They sent an envoy, all right. It's like, here it is, right in your face, like quite literally, because they're running into one of their ships. So they send a ship where it's like nose to nose with them, and it's plowing quite literally.
Yeah, they basically phase because you don't even see it
through their ship, like,
right? Yeah, because you don't see the Klingon ship until it makes contact, and it's already halfway through their ship.
Yes, and it takes off its camouflage.
Oh my god!
And there it is, and it's like, wow! And of course, it finally blows up. Yep. And the captain of the Shinjo witnesses it. It's very hard for her because she has this connection with the admiral. I mean, she looks up to him.
Right,
as
that's
a
probably
sensei.
who trained her. Yeah,
yeah. Just as much as Michael kind of has this connection with her, she has this connection with the admiral. So to see his ship go down and to witness it is of course difficult. So
and plus there was probably a lot of people on that ship. So that was traumatic anyway.
What's more is the Shinjo was it was kind of diving through space, and the admiral and their ship actually pulled them to safety. Like, they're the ones that saved them. They beam down onto the ship and pull them to where they're still in space, and they're not like diving through. They're back in a way where they're stable. Yeah. And so they are the ones that saved them. So that makes it even more hard to see, because they're the ones that saved them when they were defeated, and pretty much they one more blast and they were dead, kind of a situation. So
because you see, like, most of their ship was destroyed. Yeah,
and there's nothing left, and the Klingons were just about to fire a killing shot. And when they showed up, of course, they put that, like, right there. That's always, like, yes, it's Hollywood, yes, it's TV, but it does it in such an impactful way. I mean, But, so they explode, and fellow ships explode, and basically, this war happens, and finally, Takuma comes back and says, "You that are remaining, you carry this message through space. Tell everybody that the Klingons are back, and this is our space now. This is not Starfleet's territory. This is our territory, and we're taking it back. We're making our stance like we deserve, and like has long been our right." And he actually gets kind of deemed, or he get, like, in history and in all eras, there's you get these names that come, like, someone's really vocal over here, but you get
she liked it too.
You get these names like Ivan,
What do you mean?
Like the Conqueror, the Great,
the Great, yeah, like they kind of
Takuma gets the unforgettable.
Yes, the unforgettable. I love that. I thought that was pretty impressive.
The unforgettable.
And so the thing I thought was really cool is there's this little science officer, and I think he was a science officer. Mm-hmm. Was he not? Yeah. There's this little science officer, and he, bless his heart, he is afraid of everything. Yes. And so he was begging Michael, like, please do not engage. We need to go. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, that's too late. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, actually, it's not. We could totally just, because this is before they tried to do anything. And she still wouldn't listen to him. And then once they had engaged him, he was like, look, I'm telling you, we got to go. And she was like, well, it's too late now. Yeah. Because, at that point it was. There was nowhere for them to go. But he tried to tell her before that, and she just brushed it off. Like, if you're afraid of everything, you'll never discover anything.
Exactly. Which is a good point.
It is. But when you're talking about Klingons, you know. But I thought it was really funny.
He wanted to leave the relic alone.
Yeah, he didn't even want her to go look at it.
But, I mean, so...
He was like, I feel like we should just leave it there.
Everything has a causality, cause and effect. Yep. I mean, it's just...
Well, it's plot development. I mean, there's a reason for everything.
There's consequences. I mean, that's in anything.
Yeah.
But, like, the captain, like, it shows her, like, now she's upset, and she wants revenge for what happened to the admiral, for what happened to her colleagues and her fellow Starfleet officers, and these many people that have been killed in this war that's already happened and in this fight. And so she finds out that they have torpedoes, and she wants to launch a suicide mission. She's like, I'll man the ship. I'll carry them straight into this, I'll get into like a small, undetectable or not suspicious like vessel where I can deliver these torpedoes right in the heart of the Klingon ship. And she's ready to basically commit suicide to do this and go out guns blazing, you know, and make a statement that, you know, we don't just roll over and lay down because you think you've won. The battle has just begun, you know, kind of a show, you know so basically, you're looking at this. In the meantime, the Klingons are gathering their dead. They're beaming them onto the ship. So that's what gives them the idea that maybe they can beam them up. And, you know, here's this great kind of epiphany that they want to put maybe one of their dead or someone with those torpedoes on them. So the Federation captain and Michael go onto the Klingon ship after this happens. They send over this, they attach these torpedoes to one of their dead that they're pulling in, and at the right moment, the neck is blown up and collapses, and the ship is obviously affected, and they do a scan and show it has suffered a lot of damage. So the captain and Michael go over, and the ship is like, you know, you can see like the damaged like cables. It's on fire. There's a lot of dangling electric wires with like, you know, sparking and having
the typical sci-fi
kind of scene, and they basically don't see anyone on there, and so all of a sudden the Klingon Kuvma shows up, and as does the albino, I believe. So the albino.
Because I really think that's what he. I mean, because basically,
I feel bad for saying that, and I don't mean it in any kind of racial or any kind of like negative way. It's just, I guess.
But I feel like it was a defect because they kind of make it. They
look down upon it and belittle it. But anyway, so they both show up, and the albino fights Michael. The Takuvma fights Captain Philippa, Georgiou, whatever. Georgiou. And they're facing off, and spoilers. The
we
captain.
Probably should have labeled this spoilers because we basically just spoiled the whole show.
Well, it's fine.
Or the episode.
It's fine. If you don't know we're spoiling it by now, you're a little late to the party. But anyway,
we're gonna put warnings on it. It's okay.
The blade that he has, you know, he is obviously also stabbed, and so is she. She is stabbed right through the middle, and my horrible brain, being the masochistic piece of crap that it is like, man, he had to put it through the wash.
Too soon.
Too soon. For all you Firefly fans.
And this show really made Serenity for me. Seriously. Because her attitude, her guns blazing attitude was very Mal.
It is.
Very Mal. Because he would have done the same thing.
I am been like,
you know what, if we're going... Well, and he even said it several times. If we're going down, we're going down. Because, I mean, there was one time they got attacked and they didn't think they were going to make it out.
Even Shepard is like, the Bible is kind of... You know,
it's more like just guidelines.
Guidelines, you know. It's vague on the subject of kneecaps, you know. But anyway, sorry, random Firefly references.
But that's how they handle stuff like that. Like, they were... they were under attack before, I remember, and he did the same thing. He's like, we're going to go, like, he was willing to do the suicide mission just to make sure. He's like, we're at least going to fight back.
That's right.
And so she was very much like him.
That same mentality. And I think that's the thing
so
about
cool.
The captain and many series out there. The captains go down with their ship.
The
captains are willing to put their lives on the line,
which
for
is how
their
they
crew.
get to captain. I mean, you don't get that for no reason.
Exactly. And it's like, it's the same way, it's that military thought too of these.
Yeah.
You're willing to throw yourself on the grenade, quite literally.
Well, it's like Michael was
crew.
trying to explain to her, she was like, it was more important to me to protect you and the crew than it was to try to be diplomatic, basically. Because she was like, I was putting you guys before any of that. So, and because that's why the captain was upset, though, because she was like, she felt like she was endangering them, which honestly, I don't know what would have changed or what would have happened had they fired first. Like, if she had a chance to do that, I don't know if maybe things would have been better. Maybe they would have been worse because, hey, you're basically engaging us now. Like, I mean, I don't know. You just never know. But that's just one of those things. You never know what could have happened. But I was upset because I already knew, like, the ship was, like, I thought the ship was gonna, like, explode with them on it. Well, or something.
I feel like I already kind of knew that she was gonna die because she was any person that's willing to run a suicide mission.
And anytime they show people, and I know this is gonna sound really cliche, but the way that she was fighting,
kind of like reckless abandon.
Well, not even that. It just seems like it's the same scripted, like
sword fight.
Oops. Like, but that's the formula, because I immediately thought of Obi-Wan.
Oh,
because
yes.
that's the classic, that is a classic thing, like, the mentor, and people have always explained this to me because I always get upset. That too, yeah. And I always get so upset, but everybody explains it to me, this is a catalyst. This is what drives the protagonist? Miss Literature. Is it the protagonist or the antagonist?
The antagonist is the enemy. The protagonist.
Okay, it could be for either one, really, but it's always a mentor type character that creates the catalyst for the main character to do whatever they're going to do. So like Luke, Obi-Wan died. That was it. He was like, okay.
It changes, like, you as a person, and it sets your destiny.
Well, it changes it changes the way you think about things.
Right. And it changes your goals, like, this quest for revenge, your ideas of the future.
And it shows who you are as a person, because you can either get dark with it, or you can...
Anakin.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Or you can, not be dark with it.
Kylo Ren. No, I'm just kidding.
Or you can be like Luke and Han and be like, okay, we're going to be, the good guys.
We're going to rise above. And look at Leia. So, I mean,
oh God, if anybody had a reason to go completely mental, it should have been her. But
So,
but anyways, we're trying to show you guys the similarities of stuff like that. That's what was going on.
And Takuvma dies, and it's just as they feared. He's going to go down as a martyr. He's going to be the catalyst for this for the Klingons to even persevere even more.
Well, see, and we didn't even talk about how she got out of the brig to go help them.
Yes, I'm so sorry. She outwitted the computer.
She tricked the computer because there's a failsafe where if you're in the brig, you're considered a risk, so they don't make you privy to any information. Like, if the ship is under attack, you don't get to know anything about it. And also, it doesn't. It still has a ethical program, which means that if it's going to endanger your life, it can't do it.
Right, and she has like 6 minutes.
It's like 8 minutes to live. Yeah. And so she's telling the computer, "I need to get to that door over there."
So she outwits it.
Right. She was like,
her.
And because it gives her a potential to live.
And that
follows the ethical guidelines.
I may not completely be sold on her, but that scene where
that was amazing. The thing that upset me was
love scenes of outwit.
Yes, and her character, that actress, her characters that I've seen her play are always like that. And so by the time she gets to the bridge, though, everything, what's done is done. Like, people have been hurt. There's been all kinds of stuff. And there's so much damage. And so the captain's talking about, we're just going to attack the ship. We're going to blow. And then she tells her, she's like, well, you can't now. She was like, because now if you kill him, you create a martyr.
And yes, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's what every story tries to warn against. They've already set this
destiny in motion. I mean, at this point, there's nothing they can do about it. Captain Georgiou is passed away, and of course Michael's very affected in her own destiny and her own path, as is the albino Klingon that we have seen. Because he lost he's admired, and his mentor, and this person that he's looked up to and wanted to aspire to be like is now dead, and as is this the unforgettable. Like, there's a reason he has that name. He will never be forgotten.
And I kind of already knew when they gave him that nickname. I was like, there's a reason for that.
And he'll go down in history
somehow.
Yeah, and that's going to spur them. She said the thing about spur them.
And when she warned him about the whole martyr thing, I was like, there we go.
Yep.
The foreshadowing.
The foreshadowing
is amazing.
Yes. There you go.
I know some people get mad about it, but I actually like foreshadowing because
you can kind of see what's happening, but at the same time, But basically, so it kind of flashes forward. Michael, you see all this happening, and it flashes forward to Michael being questioned by the council of the Starfleet, and she's very kind of, you can tell she's almost numb.
She's so upset. She's just kind of
everything that's happened. She's sitting here questioning. They're accusing her of mutiny, defying orders. It's almost you almost get the feeling she's almost given up, maybe, and that's
the way she makes it sound.
Yeah, and she pleads guilty. She pleads guilty to the charges. So
what can she do? There was no evidence otherwise. She had to.
And that you see her putting her in jail.
And they sentence her to life, and they strip her of all her rank.
Yes.
And she's basically in prison for life. She doesn't
stripped of rank, right?
Right. She'll never get to have her own ship. She won't get to do, all the stuff that she worked so hard to get to and this point is gone.
What a cliffhanger, because they actually say that 8,186 people were killed.
Yep.
And are dead. So, and then it goes to the preview for the rest of the series, or at least the next episode.
Which I am so excited
Jason
to see.
Jason Isaacs.
Daddy Malfoy. And I mean that in every sense of the word.
Oh God!
Sorry, having a moment.
I'm intrigued because I saw in the Patriot. He's that villain you love to hate, because like I said, in the Patriot,
he does that so well
as Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter. He's just.
But this time he's supposedly going to be a good guy.
He's got a dark past.
But right now he's a good guy, so it's I don't know.
You don't know much about him.
But he's such a good actor.
Of course he is. He's an amazing actor. I love his. He's got that deep, very easy to listen to voice. So I think he's going to have that authoritative.
And he
advantage.
is the new captain, right? He replaces Georgiou, basically,
right? And I'm intrigued to see how he does. From the brief glimpse that we've seen, I'm very interested to see how this goes.
And some people don't like previews, and some people consider preview spoilers.
I don't. It makes me want to keep watching.
Exactly. I'm I want to get a taste of what's going to happen. I always watch previews.
Yes, and what's more is, I feel like I want to see how, because obviously we've seen Michael's relationship with Georgiou. I want to see her relationship with him.
Yeah.
And
I think that'll be interesting
to see how this is going to work. So
yeah, I cannot wait to see, and you guys would understand if you watch the previews. There's just so much going on, and there's going to be, I don't know how many episodes there's going to be.
You do see a glimpse of her in the prison or what have you, and people are talking about her. Oh, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's
she's
the
mutineer.
The mutineer that's
her nickname now.
Havoc, and she's the reason that so many are dead. It has been.
They know who she is.
Exaggerated in such a way that she's well known as being this horrible mutineer.
And you get the feeling that she's dealt with it a lot already, because she just kind of rolled okay, here we go again.
And she just she takes it very well, I guess. So yeah, she's used to it. So
yeah, it's gonna be good. I wish that people would have given it a chance before they got so upset about it.
Here's the thing: a lot of people are actually comparing it to the Orville, and they've thanked the
Why?
creators of
Because
the Orville for giving them a good Star Trek show.
Well, because the Orville isn't. The Orville is a comedy. The Orville is Galaxy Quest as a sitcom. Mm-hmm. And that is, and what I find funny is Galaxy Quest was a spoof on Star Trek. Mm-hmm. They meant it to be. They literally said they meant it to be. And I think if people would, I feel the same way about sequels. I feel the same way about movies that are based on books.
Yes.
You need to separate. You need to compartmentalize. And you need to say, okay,
look at it as itself and its own entity.
Thing A is not thing B.
Right.
And you need to give them... These people work so hard. Like, I don't think people understand the amount of work that goes into a show, much less a movie, but a TV show, a series. And I actually watched an interview with Sonequa Martin, and they showed... And I'm not really sure, like, what was going on, but they showed the video... Like, somebody was videotaping her when she got the call... that she had gotten the role, got accepted for the role, and she was like, she had like this huge smile, and she was sobbing, and I was like, oh, and that alone was just enough to like just touch my heart, and I was like, look how badly she wanted this, and look how much she feels, and how much she's invested. Like, I mean, you have to trust that she's going to do a good job.
In the classic Trek series, there's always been. Like, there's so many female figures that we've been able to look up to, like Uhura.
Yeah, but not, I mean, it took a while, because, I mean, that was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
Her being, you know, like a main officer on the ship. Like, that was a huge deal.
Right. And, I mean, and now we get to kind of see this new adaptation, and I'm excited to see more. I want to see, I mean, yes, we have this war... But I feel like now that we've seen this glimpse of war, they're going to take a step back, I feel like.
Yeah, we're probably going to start getting a lot of flashback backstory, which is going to probably make a lot of people upset.
Yeah,
but you have to explain things. You can't just
we need to be introduced to Jason Isaacs' character as a captain to kind of...
And
just like we want to know, like... just how we all connect with our captain, like whether it be Picard or Kirk, or, you know, I know a lot of people are pro Kirk, pro Picard, Janeway, whomever your captain is. I love me some Picard, and he'll always be my captain. I love Kirk. Don't get me wrong, William Shatner.
Kirk was sassy and he was good, but it's not the same.
Leonard Nimoy, may he rest in peace.
Oh, bless. That makes me so sad, because part of me wonders what he would have thought, because everybody everybody immediately has started going to, because when Galaxy Quest
with them
came
bringing
out,
back Vulcans especially,
when Galaxy Quest came out, they were like, hey, go watch, you know, and so with this one, they've started, they're wanting the opinions of like the older,
and it reminds me of this reaction to people reacting over Jodie Whittaker being the new Doctor in Doctor Who, and going to the old Doctors like Tennant.
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think? Right, Capaldi,
which
Matt
I find
Smith.
so funny, because to me, I mean, honestly, what do you expect them to say? To be fair, I mean,
unless
regardless
Peter
of how,
Davidson,
don't even get me started on that. That disappointed me very much so. But anyway, that's a whole nother video.
Yeah.
Another time.
We kind of posted a little bit of that video.
Yeah. But to me, I feel like everybody should be given a fair chance. Yes. They are chosen for a reason. You have to understand, she was not the only person that auditioned for this part. Mm-hmm. None of these people were. None of these people were the only. And her acting is taken into consideration. So I'm curious to see what her kind of story arc evolves into, what Jason Isaacs' captain becomes. Will he be one of my new captains? I don't know. We'll see. I'm very hopeful, because just simply because I know how Jason Isaacs is as an actor. I've seen interviews with him, and I have a lot of very high hopes. Yes.
And I feel like not too high, but pretty high expectations for him. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's not really high expectations. I'm just excited.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, I'm excited because this is new, and this is something that is related to something that is important to me.
Personally, I know a lot of people are comparing it, but I'm keeping the Orville and Star Trek Discovery separated.
Because they are not the same. One is an
same.
intentional comedy. One is a very serious drama.
And I feel like, yes, people are talking about the issues, the cultural and the current social issues that are coming up in our society, and with the Orville that is mimicking and putting a mirror in front of society and saying, look at this. This is relatable.
It's like Seth MacFarlane said. It's like, he likes to hold a mirror up and go, hey, I don't like this.
Change it.
Look at what you're doing. I don't like this.
And if you don't like what
and if you don't like what I'm showing you, then change it. And I think I honestly, that's why I adore him. A lot of people don't like him, but I think he's amazing because he's one of the few people that is actually brave enough, especially in Hollywood, because everybody is so scared to be PC and everything. It's like, look, if something is wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
And so I'm glad that he kind of takes a stance on that. And I don't know how much commentary is going to be in Discovery, but we're already seeing
there's always going to be a relatable issue or relatable topic that's going to come up, and we will see that. I can't wait to see this.
Well, they're already making race an issue because they talked about the fact that she was a human raised by Vulcans. That was a big issue.
And we have an albino.
Yeah, right. With a different skin color, and then the poor little science officer that's so scared of everything, and he is a precious little baby. I felt so bad for him. But his race is basically raised as cattle. Like they are. He said we were hunted down. He was like, we are made
livestock.
Yeah, he's like, we are made to be afraid. We sense fear. We know when something bad is happening, and he said something bad is happening right now.
And they get that intuition,
right? Because he said we're generations of us have been
and it really changes your fortitude to be able to adapt and to handle that kind of intense situation. But I am open to seeing what else is out there. I'm not gonna bash it already. No. I'm open,
and nobody else should be either. It's 2 episodes
I understand all you fellow Trekkies and Trekkers out there that you're comparing it automatically. That's natural. It is. You're going to compare it, of course, and you're going to be like, "Oh, this doesn't fall within the canon."
It's only 2 episodes.
It's 2 episodes, right?
This is not enough to base anything on.
Give it a spirited chance and give it a shot. But I know we will, and we'll continue watching, and we'll keep reviewing for you guys. So
for those of you
keeping on
watching it with us.
Keep calm and stay Vulcan.
Woo! And thank you guys for sitting through another video. We get so excited about things, and sometimes they run long.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when we're allowed to fangirl.
Right. Over geek and nerd things. Yay!
And we're going to be doing some more of that with other things.
Yes, and we're going to be reviewing more stuff. I'm reviewing the Orville. We're doing anime reviews, comic reviews. We'll be reviewing Walking Dead when it starts back.
Busy. Oh, thank you, Lord. Sorry. I had a moment
we'll
thinking
be
about
reviewing
Negan.
Walking Dead when it comes back. We'll be reviewing Stranger Things 2.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word.
We'll be reviewing a lot of shows that are starting. Yeah, that are coming.
It's fall. It's fall, y'all.
And
as we say in the South.
In the South. But we'll be talking about different comics and just a lot of things. We'll be doing unboxings of Loot Crate, Loot Anime, maybe some Loot Gaming, definitely Owl Crate, Think Geek Capsule, as well as Scotchbox. And one of our personal favorites.
Featuring our little kitty helper, apparently, because she's been very clingy lately, so...
And we'll eat Japanese snacks and do fun videos, having fun. Gaming, there'll be so much stuff. And it'll be great. And we're also giving away Destiny 2. Stay tuned for those details. But yeah, thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribing. Subscribe. All over the place.
And thank you guys so much. And please share and do all the things.
Like us on Facebook.
Do all the social media things.
Facebook.com/Nerdettes. We're out here to just keep it real with you guys and share our nerdy thoughts, because I can speak.
Words no good.
No words no good. So, but yeah, thank you again. Just let us know what you think. We're gonna continue definitely putting more reviews out there for you guys. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.